Hi friends, it's Aubrey from Crybaby Sentimental Homestead, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to save up on some soil by collecting material from the property. I'm going to put it into a big pot and transplant one of the trees that I have in my greenhouse that really needs to get transplanted before it gets too hot. I've been pushing it because I went so crazy and I ordered a bunch of plants a couple years ago, and I've tucked them into the greenhouse so that they wouldn't be too cold in the wintertime, but now it's getting too hot in there. So it's going to be important that I get them transplanted out. Some of them are going to go into really pretty pots, which they can stay there for a really long time. The pots are just ginormous. So that's what we're going to do. I've got a 5-gallon bucket and I'm going to fill it with just debris, green and brown material from the property. And then I'm going to top it up with soil. We have this cherry tree that's this one in particular. It makes these really tart cherries. These cherries are really inedible, but I have seen animals eating them, so I'm going to leave the cherry tree. It's really beautiful. I have other cherries that are edible for us, but it drops a lot of mulch, which I can use. And the seeds that I have down here that I'm putting into my bucket, they're not viable, so they're okay to add. I'm also adding leaves. I'm going to use some of these dead cardoon leaves as well. These will be great. They're a little pokey, so I'm going to be careful. I'm going to interlayer with some of this broken down wood chips. The cardoon leaves are really spiky, so I'm going to be very careful as I put them in here. This right here is just one leaf, and they have nasty little barbs that really hurt, and I actually cut my finger. So this is a good project for wearing gloves. The stalk of the leaf is really foamy, which I think will be really good for retaining water and keeping moisture in the soil. So this is just 2 leaves. I know someone's going to say I'm doing this wrong, but this is just sawdust. Not fresh sawdust. It's been sitting around the property for a couple years. And they've got some more composted wood chips. There's another cardoon leaf on top of that. All right, I'm going to do some more sawdust. And I'm going to do some cherry leaves. And some composted wood chips. And I'm be careful not to touch the cardoon leaves. Now I'm at the point where I'm going to start to put in some more actual, intentional soil. This will break down over the years, and then as the roots get down, it'll have been broken down. And it's also giving food for the worms. I've chosen the plant I'm going to put in here. This is out of the greenhouse. This is a variegated elderberry. So that's going to be in here. I need to add some soil underneath and then around it, and I'll water it in. Let's go ahead and do that. I put in some topsoil, and look at these beautiful worms in here. Nice. That's what we want. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So remember that I do this. I put the pot inside the other pot to make sure it's the right level. And I want it just at the right soil line, at the same line, the same level it's at now is where I'm going to plant it to. So that looks perfect. All right, I kind of massaged the pot and it came out really easy. And now I'm going to go ahead and put the soil around. So I filled it with soil, and there are just so many worms. That's beautiful. I want to top it with some mulch and water in it. So I went ahead and put a little bit of sawdust. I put a little bit of the composted wood chips, just a little bit, and a little bit of the sawdust down. Not very much sawdust because I don't want it to be like concrete on the top when it gets hot, wet, and then dry. it can kind of become like a cement layer. So I just put a little bit like sunscreen to keep the soil alive underneath. And now I'm going to water it in. And this plant was from One Green World. I've always been really happy with the plants I got from them. And this plant actually survived being in the same container they shipped it to me in the same packaging they shipped it to me in, for I think it's been 2 years. So even with that neglect, now I did water it and I put it into the greenhouse when it was cold. But it's been through some trauma and it's just done really well. So this is a variegated elderberry from One Green World. And I'm really happy. I got in this large planter pot I got from Rite Aid last year when they were on clearance for a steal. I think it was $12, which it normally was like 20 something. So I got a really fabulous deal on that too. I might end up having to move this, but for now it's out of the way. It's next to a raised bed. That's one of my to-do list items. Check. All right, everybody, God bless you, and I'll see you on the next episode. Make sure you click like, subscribe, comment, and share. Take care.